Hello everyone. I would first of all like to thank you for letting me be here to visit with all the staff today. As you are all aware, October is National Bullying Prevention Month, and I have been sending out several emails and information about that the last week or so. And today the topic that I'm going to visit with you about is about cyberbullying. First of all, I want to explain exactly what cyberbullying is. Bullying is a topic that we talk about a lot here at school. And so more specifically today, we're going to break that down more to talk about cyberbullying. And that is bullying that takes place using any type of electronic technology. So here at school where we have the one-on-one iPads, it could be done on the iPad. It could be done on a school laptop or a desktop. It could be done on a cell phone. A lot of times it's by using these specific apps that you see here. You know, right now kids Snapchat, Twitter, YouTube, they don't use Facebook as much as adults do anymore, but it's through various apps, and those apps just become more and more. Every day there's something new that we are not as familiar with. So we just have to really watch what our students are using and what platforms they're using. I want to share some facts here about cyberbullying. First fact is 22.5% of online bullying is done through mean comments. 35% have shared a screenshot or photo to laugh at people. 61% of bullying that's reported by teens is because of their appearance. 41% of adults using the internet have been harassed online. And 7 in 10 young people experience cyberbullying before they hit the age of 18. So those are some pretty significant facts there I wanted to share. So some of these topics that I have listed here, these are the 10 types of cyberbullying. And some of these may be new to you. So I have them all listed here: exclusion, trolling, harassment, dissing, frapping, fake profiles, cyberstalking, trickery, outing, and catfishing. And there is a short little video on YouTube that I have linked here that we will be sharing during mentoring. And so I would like to take a moment here, take a break and from this presentation and show you that video. And this is something that we'll be sharing with students here in the next month. Okay, next I would like to share some of the tips for teens. We have to give all of the students as many tools as we can to help them deal with cyberbullying. And so during mentoring, we will be handing out this handout right here, and it is called Standing Up to Cyberbullying, and it talks about 10 different tips for them. And so I'm not going to go over that in detail because we will talk about that more in mentoring in detail. But it's just important that they understand that you should report it. You should keep the evidence. You should talk to trusted people. Work together. Don't encourage it. Stay safe and don't give up. Just a few of those. So I just wanted to share that handout with you and let you know that we will be talking about that more during mentoring. This next video I thought was really eye-opening, especially with everything with the last few years with the viruses all going around, and I just thought it was a really good video that we are going to share with students, and it's called the cyberbullying virus. So we're going to pause for just a moment on this video and let you watch this one. This is something we are definitely going to share with students too. So I hope you enjoy this video. So as you can see in the video, there was basically, it talks about how a student becomes a victim of bullying online, so cyberbullying. And it talks in there about how students can report it and can help stand up and not let the virus continue. And you guys know how hard it is here at school when one thing gets out and then it spreads like wildfire. And so that's what our job as teachers and staff is, to help prevent that. And so part of that is we report it when we see it. And so if you overhear a conversation or you see a post or something that needs to be reported, please be active in that reporting. The other thing I want to mention real quick about this video is you saw they talked about the wearing pink. We will also be wearing pink this month for the anti-bullying Awareness Week. All right, let's move on to, whoops, let me get that stopped there. The video referred back to teens and suicide, and unfortunately, cyberbullying does result in suicide for some students. There is a professor out of the Florida Atlantic University, and in 2010, she did a study, and in that study, more than 2,000 middle school students revealed that cyberbullying victims were nearly twice as likely to attempt suicide compared to students not targeted with online abuse. So if our kids that are being cyberbullied are twice as likely to attempt suicide, we need to stop it before it gets to that point. The other thing that I thought was really interesting in this study was they talked about methods of discipline, and they talked about how schools need to consider a discipline called the method of shared concern. And this is something that I think our district can maybe do a little bit better job at. We always, visit with the bully, and we also visit with the victim, but we don't really consider everybody as a whole. And that's what part of this method of shared concern is examining and addressing conflicts. Now, this needs to be done by trained professionals, so it's not going to be just any teacher or any staff member that does this method of shared concern, but it is something that we are looking at as a district, and I really think that it can help us if we address all three: the victim, the bully, and bystanders. As you guys are all aware that we've already shared, in the lower right-hand corner is the new 988 Suicide Crisis Lifeline, and that is now active in Kansas, and so I wanted to make sure we shared that again. I'm going to share two charts with you here on the next two slides, and I really thought this was interesting. It has to do with cyberbullying and cell phones, and we have fought cell phones here in this building, for the last 4 years since I've been over here, and I know it's an ongoing issue. And so that is one of the reasons that we have tried different things. When Mr. Sullivan was here, we started with the little phone pockets. And in the past, we had used the little device that locked. And so I thought this was really interesting. This was a study that found, this is the frequency of principal-reported cyberbullying in public schools. And so you can see in 2010 is the blue line, and then in 2016. And this is through the Department of Education, and so this was the most current information available. You can see that if it was reported daily and weekly, and then as it goes monthly and occasionally, it gets higher. In fact, you can see that it, almost tripled there. And so this is the frequency of principals reported cyberbullying in public schools as far as cell phone usage. Now, this was the one that was a little interesting to me, and I don't want a lot of debate from it, but I think it's something that we maybe need to take a look at. This is the difference between schools where cell phones were allowed and where cell phones were prohibited. So as you can see, the percent of schools with principals reporting daily and weekly cyberbullying, it actually is higher where cell phones were prohibited. And so where cell phones were allowed, the reports were actually lower. So I'd like to take a little bit of time and discuss that, maybe some of the reasons you feel that is. I don't know, in my mind, the first thing I thought of was, okay, is it because they're allowed, and so students don't feel like it's like their right to have it, and so they don't use it as much as when we prohibit them. And then when we do prohibit the phones, they feel like they have to use it, and they get involved in all of this cyberbullying and drama. So that'll be interesting to see what kind of debate we can come up with on that here. I do want to talk to you about cyberbullying and the legislation. As of January 2015, 49 states have enacted bullying prevention laws that do require us as a school to have policies in place to deal with bullying and cyberbullying. And schools are allowed to handle cyberbullying both on and off campus. The main thing here we have to look at is if the cyberbullying happens off campus and then it comes into the school day and disrupts our school day, then that's when the school does get involved. And here in our district, we also involve our SRO officers. And because we have had in the past, unfortunately, some things that were found to be illegal with inappropriate pictures. And so as needed, then we do involve the law enforcement. So that brings us to our plan as a district. As I stated, it is a state requirement. And so our district does have a bullying plan, and they actually just updated that this summer in July of this year. And I was able to sit in on that committee, and it was a really interesting conversation. And so I'm going to just click on that policy and bring that up real quick. They did take a lot of time and looked at this. What I think is really interesting in the policy is it includes students, staff, and parents. And so it talks about bullying for any three of those. So I'm not going to read through this whole policy because you guys can look at the policy, but it does explain what cyberbullying is. And remember, it has to be repeated on purpose behavior. But like I said, it's interesting that our policy now extends out to parents. So that is something that we will be continuing to look at and update. In fact, right now they're in the process of updating the bullying reporting plan. There's a form that if a student is caught being a bully or is the person that is the victim, and it is reported to either counselor, staff, principal, there will be a kind of a flow chart to go through, and there will be a form that we will get to use to report that. And like I said, that's in the process right now of being revised and rewritten. Okay, that takes us to my references here. And you can see the list of references, which included those videos we shared and our board plan and policies. So at this time, I am open for any questions. And before I start answering questions, I just want to thank you again for allowing me to be here today. Thank you.